What's up guys, it's Justin here, and today I've got a video telling you everything I think you should know about the Apple AirPods 2. So the first gen came out a couple years ago, and when they first came out, society seemed to think they were pretty ugly, and I didn't really see them around that much, but of course, over the years, they've become extremely popular and in my opinion are one of the best Apple products to date. If you guys want to win a pair of custom colored AirPod 2s from my friends over at Colorware, just make sure you subscribe to the channel, drop a like on this video, and also leave a comment down below, and follow me over on Instagram at justin.tse. I'll be announcing a winner in the comment section when this video hits 3,000 likes, and also make sure you go ahead and check out Colorware, as I'm going to leave a link to them down below. If you guys are wondering why I only have one side on this one, it's because I just got back from Paris, and while I was in the airport, I happened to lose one of them, and this is actually my third pair of AirPods, and I use them every single day, so even though they're pretty expensive to replace, it's been one of these products where I just can't seem to live without. So thankfully, when the AirPods 2 were announced a couple weeks ago, I went ahead and ordered them right away, and here they are. So first off, when it comes to price, the AirPods come in a few different options. So if you want to get it without the wireless charging case, but with the new H1 chip and Bluetooth 5.0 in the earbuds, as well as Hey Siri, it is $159 in the US, which is the exact same price as the previous gen. If you add $40 to that price, you get the wireless charging case, and if you want to purchase just the wireless charging case but use it with your old AirPods, then the price is $79 in the US, which is $10 more than what Apple typically charges for just the case itself. Because I am in Canada though, the price for the AirPods 2 with the wireless charging case was $301 after tax, which is pretty expensive. On the newest generation, you do also have the choice to engrave it with anything you want, which is a pretty cool touch, especially because they're very easy to lose. So I think the biggest question is why Apple waited so long to release a second generation of these beloved earbuds, and I think the reason for that is they really didn't have to. If you go ahead and look at the overall search terms and the hype behind the AirPods when they were first released in 2017 compared to where they were in 2018 holiday season, you can see that the peak hype was actually in December of last year. So AirPods were still selling like crazy, and when the hype is just that high, you don't really have to release a next generation. But because it is a tech product, at almost 2 years after its initial release, that is definitely a little bit of a long time, and we did kind of anticipate an update coming. But some of the changes that we saw were kind of what we expected, whereas things that we thought we would see in the AirPods 2 just aren't here. I think one of the most interesting things though is if you look at the box of the AirPods 2 is that it says 2018 on it, so I guess Apple had these ready to ship last year but kind of held off on them until early this year. Beyond that though, I think what is even more interesting is that the box actually says compatible with AirPower, which was announced yesterday that Apple was no longer going to make them. That was sort of supposed to tie together the whole wireless charging experience of the new iPhones as well as the AirPods and the Apple Watch all into one great wireless charging pad. But I think another reason why Apple hasn't made any drastic changes to the AirPods itself is because when it comes to engineering and convenience, the AirPods are essentially unmatched in the 2 years that they have been out on the market. There's obviously a ton of great options nowadays when it comes to value, sound quality, comfort, customizability, and battery life. But when it comes to engineering and just the sheer size and what they've been able to do in such a small form factor and convenience, there's no company that has come anywhere close to the Apple AirPods. And whether you're an Apple fan or not, you just really have to admit that. So as a result of that, the core design of the Apple AirPods are essentially completely unchanged. But for the sake of just a wish list of things that we want to see or expected to see on the AirPods 2, these features included better sound quality, a new black colorway, wireless charging, perhaps health features, an IP rating, faster wired charging, as well as improved sound quality. But in terms of some other features that I would have liked to have seen as well is active noise cancellation, because I do tend to fly a lot, and in many cases on 5 or 9 hour flights, having active noise cancellation, whether you're sleeping, listening to music, or especially when watching movies and not being able to hear the dialogue that goes on in an airplane, I would have liked to have seen active noise cancellation on a fully wireless pair of Apple earbuds. But instead, we got an incremental update, which was as expected, and I don't really fault Apple for doing that because it all sort of makes sense from a business point of view. You have the Apple H1 chip in the earbuds, which is more efficient and also faster compared to the W1, as well as a wireless charging case with a battery indicator that is on the outside, which is a good improvement in my opinion. With the new Apple H1 chip, they promise 2 times faster switching between different devices, and with Bluetooth 5.0, it is just overall more efficient, but in some cases has larger bandwidth and also better range. For my personal testing though, the sound quality was essentially exactly the same. I didn't notice any improvements, but it wasn't to say that the previous gen had bad sound quality. For any fully wireless pair of wireless headphones, your expectations obviously have to be a little bit tapered because of the fact that Bluetooth can only be so good. So although the AirPods aren't the best sounding on the market and don't have any sort of customizability, the sound quality and the convenience was my choice for the best wireless earbuds. When it comes to range, these are about the exact same as the previous generation as well, so there isn't any improvement there. As a result of Bluetooth 5.0, you also have an additional talk time of 1 hour, which gives you 3 hours as opposed to 2 hours, but the listening time for music and videos is exactly the same at up to 5 hours. From my experience, I found that to be pretty accurate, and I've always been able to get around 4 to 5 hours on the original AirPods on like a long flight, which is really nice. If you're a Siri user, instead of having to double tap on the earbuds to enable Siri, you can also just say, "Hey Siri," and it will go ahead and start up Siri right away. It does take a couple seconds and take up more battery life, but personally, as someone who has not used Siri in the past 3 years, that is not a feature that is very important to me. It is also said that the mic quality is a little bit better, especially in noisy situations on the newest AirPods, but honestly, I couldn't really notice that big of a difference, and they just sound good as they did before. When it comes to wireless charging though, this essentially enables you to put this on any Qi wireless charger, whether you have one from IKEA, a Griffin one, a Belkin one, or anything, an Amazon brand. You can just go ahead and put it on the pad like you would with a smartphone, or even put it on an Android device like the Huawei P30 Pro, the Mate 20 Pro, or the Samsung Galaxy S10 and S10 Plus. And you can charge it right away, and it should take anywhere from about 3 to 3.5 hours, which isn't the shortest, but is also very convenient. The wireless charging speed is about the equivalent of around 5 watts. If you go ahead with the wired charging though, this should get you 3 hours of listening in just 15 minutes or 2 hours for the entire case and earbud to charge. The case itself still gets you up to 24 hours or so of listening on a full charge. Some of the other small design improvements in the case though that I really enjoy is the fact that the battery indicator is on the outside, so you don't have to open up the earbud case to see where your charge is at. As soon as you plug it in, it will show an orange or green depending on the level of charge, and it will stay off during the charging, but if you go ahead and open the case, it will show the charge indication once again. Another small design change that we notice is that the hinge is actually a frosted finish and is slightly stronger and feels a little bit stiffer than the previous gen. Nothing crazy, and it's still really fun to just flick around and annoy everyone, but it's just a small touch that I noticed when comparing to the previous gen. Otherwise, the earbuds itself are still very light at 4 grams each, but the case itself is just about 2 grams heavier because of the wireless charging mechanism. So at the end of the day, is it worth the upgrade? And I think it really comes down to whether or not you really value the wireless charging. So personally, I don't tend to use wireless charging that much unless I'm charging something overnight like my smartphone, so I don't really think it's worth it in my case because I don't need the wireless charging case. I do like the fact that the H1 chip is a little bit more efficient and a little bit faster to connect, but the differences aren't completely massive to the point where it's worth buying an entire pair of earbuds unless you lost the other side like I did. Even though it does kind of make sense that Apple didn't go all in on this pair of AirPods in terms of the upgrades for 2019, I do wish that the battery life was a little bit more improved, perhaps an extra hour or so, which should be able to compare with some of the best battery lives on fully wireless earbuds. I'm no engineer, but especially with the H1 chip and the Bluetooth 5.0 and the better efficiency and stuff and the improved talk time, I think they could have at least improved the battery life of the earbuds for music. If you're someone who doesn't currently own a pair of Apple AirPods and have been kind of holding off for the second gen, then there's no better time to buy one right now because the one without the wireless charging is exactly the same price, or you might be able to find a discount on the previous gen. Otherwise, this has pretty much been my video of everything you should know about the Apple AirPods 2, and I'll see you guys in the next one.